Hi guys, what's up? XtraTalk here. We have Sahbi, we have Popimento, and we have Eyejax. How you guys doing?
Chilling, bro.
Chilling. Doing great.
Got this.
Doing great.
Peachy. Season's
All
over.
together again.
Do it.
Off season, guys. Only transfer news and rumors and all these kind of things. So we're gonna talk
You
about
can
that
see it
today.
already, like it's off season and Sahbi has a tan and stuff, he's chilling, grabbing some sun, little vacation, living the good life.
Yeah, he is living the good life.
For sure. You have to.
All right, Eyejax, good to have you back. Also, so yeah, full house here, man. Let's have a talk. We have a couple of things to discuss. Basically, this week's news and rumors about players. Let's stick to that, the most important ones, and we'll talk about that today. We want our viewers, of course, also to react. Let us know what you think. We have to start with Timber. It's a news every week, basically. But but Timber early this week, we heard he had an interview with the Telegraaf, and he said a couple of very interesting stuff, basically. And I want you to react on that and let me know what you think about what he had to say. So basically, in a nutshell, he said, I don't feel I'm done at Ajax, I feel I can still grow here, but I can still also develop myself further at other clubs too. So that's one. The second thing he said, I know what I have here. I know what I have at Ajax. I'm playing with the best players of the Netherlands here. I'm playing Champions League. I'm a starter, etc. Also for the World Cup, maybe that's important. So he knows all these kind of things. He said he hasn't made up his mind. He will finish, now he's with the Nations League, with the Dutch team. Then he will go on vacation and he will come back. But his final decision will be based on his feeling, how he feels, whether he wants to stay at Ajax or whether he wants to go to Manchester United. Eyejax, let me give it to you first. What did you make up of his interview and the way he reacted?
Juan, it's very difficult, this situation, because it's speculations everywhere, and we cannot say anything final until the player gives us some clarification. So, but my gut feeling is saying also from the beginning that he will be at our club for 1 more year at least. And this is what I am thinking, but yeah, I cannot bring you the facts solely what he said in his interview. And he said in his interview that it's important for him to play at the World Cup. It's in November, December this year. So the first few months of this season is very important. So he needs to, play and get regular minutes. And he knows at Ajax that he will play those minutes, and he knows he will play at the highest platform in the Champions League. So either Manchester United cannot give him that guarantee, or he's just going for the safe play and staying at Ajax. And also what he said, he's not done learning at our club. So I think he will stay. And definitely, maybe if we can sign Quinten, who's done terrifically at Utrecht and can also be of value for our team. Maybe he would love to play in the first team for Ajax, with his brother, because those are twins and probably have the dream since they joined the academy at Ajax to play together in the first squad. So if you have the chance to realize that dream, it would be this year, because it will be more difficult to do it later in the career.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Popimento, do you feel the same as Eyejax on this one? Do you feel your gut feeling, basically? Because what Eyejax said, it's important. We don't know until he takes his final decision. What does your gut feeling tell you? Do you agree with Eyejax, or do you have another view on this one?
No, I have the same view that I think he will stay, but I do see it more in a way of if he stays, it's a plus. Because he is a very unique player, very talented player, not many like him. He can play on multiple positions, so I can understand that a lot of clubs are interested. And to be honest, if Ajax gets a 50 million, 60 million bid for Timber, doubt they will say no, Juan, to be honest.
Okay, but what do you feel? What do you want?
I want him to stay. Yeah, of course, man. We need to challenge for the Champions League. Him, Martinez, the triangle with Alvarez, if we keep that, that's a rock solid base to build from and do well again next year in the Champions League. And we won't drop as much as in our level if that center stays for me.
Yeah, understood. But I want to go to Sahbi. Sahbi asked you the same question basically, but I want to add something on top of that. The contract situation. He has a 2-year contract, we know. So let's say he wants to stay, but at the same time he doesn't extend his contract. Do we want this? Do we still want him for a year? What would you say about that?
Oh man, very difficult. Very difficult. I mean, from a quality perspective, I would say, yeah, we need to stay. I mean, he is so important for us, especially with the tandem with Lisandro Martinez. But transfer wise, financially wise, it will be the Gravenberg scenario whereby we will not whereby Ajax will not have the power to ask whatever they want. So it's going to be difficult. If we could have a replacement, like a quality player who could replace Timber, which would be highly it won't happen that easily. But if we could have a quality player instead, and Timber would say, I will not extend, I would take that 50, 60 million, because it's a 1 year, and after 1 year, it will probably decrease to 20, 25. It's a big difference. So if he extends, of course, he should stay. If he doesn't extend, quality-wise, yeah. But financially, I would say sell him and get another player who would cost a little bit more, 20 million, 25 million, but can easily take over his spot.
And about the gut feeling, right? Because Ajax and Koopmeiners said that they feel like he might stay. Do you feel the same? Or does your gut feeling tell you something different?
I'm not feeling the same. I'm still not fully convinced he will stay. I mean, we also the latest report from the Telegraaf, the article whereby they gave like a vibe as he would probably stay. But based on what? Based on his interview, which we already saw the day before, it didn't give us any added information. So, my hesitation is mainly because of the fact that Timber hasn't decided yet. I mean, if he would stay, he would have decided, no, I'm going to stay. But he wants time to think about it, meaning that he a little bit luring to going to United, and that's worrisome.
Yeah, for me, but Sahbi, isn't it also like everybody, every end of the season, you evaluate where you are in your growth and you check, like, okay, should I stay? Should I leave? I don't think that's a weird question to ask yourself.
No, but should you wait? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, that was my question to you.
No, I mean, should you wait so many weeks to give to give some clarity? I mean, there's so much at stake. You're letting Ajax wait. You're letting United wait. He probably already knows what he wants to do. He probably knows it, and I don't think it will change in a matter of weeks. I mean, the rumors were already for weeks already. Yeah, so he had already time to decide. I mean, his management, his agents were already at United. That would mean something.
No, it doesn't mean
anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, of course,
it might also be something for the contract negotiation to
exactly. I mean, if you were open to something, wouldn't you already have some? Wouldn't you want some additional information, contract-wise? I don't know. I don't care what, but it's not like he closed the door and he wants to say Ajax. So otherwise, it wouldn't be an option.
I agree with Sahbi, because my take, I'm leaning towards Sahbi on this one. My gut feeling tells me, guys, that he's leaving to United, and I'll tell you why. Of course, we don't know. I think it's going to be a very close call from his perspective. Because otherwise he would have made that decision already, and that's also worrisome for us. And the reason for this is when you read something like, and I would guess that Telegraaf knows quite a bit about what's going on, but if you read this week that they are going to talk about the negotiations and the contract with Timber, my first gut feeling is, why are we doing this now? Why didn't we do it all these past month? Because we know that Overmars was already busy with doing this, but now we have basically, I'm not sure what goes behind the scenes, of course, but it seems like we didn't do anything in between. This is a missed opportunity. That's one. But hold on. Let me just clarify my points a little bit. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, at the beginning, when these rumors came about, we were like, no, United, of course, they're making the link with Ten Hag and with Timber and the players of Ajax, etc., etc. Now things are unfolding. He didn't deny that there was interest from United. So there is interest from United. It's clear now. It's clear also when you see the interview of Ten Hag when he left. His facial reaction, please stay away from Timber or leave Timber with Ajax. You saw his reaction. So it's clear that Ten Hag wants him. And I think that link, that coach Ten Hag wants Timber, eliminates a little bit also the factor what you guys mentioned about the World Cup. Because he cannot guarantee, of course, everybody playing. But if he really wants Timber, and Timber knows Ten Hag, and Ten Hag knows Timber, one thing we've learned from Ten Hag is he knows when he gets a player from outside that he worked with, he's gonna play him. So I don't think that argument is that has. Yeah, go ahead.
No, especially for that amount. I mean, we were talking about 40 million. It will probably maybe increase to 50 million. For that amount, in combination with the fact that the coach really wants him, you can really be assured that he will get playing time.
Yeah, and one final argument, because I'm looking at the sour face of Eyejax. He wants to really react on this. So no, but one more, and that's very important. One more. Guys, we're talking about, with all due respect, I know we love Ajax. Ajax is a big club. We know all these kind of things. But he has an opportunity to go to Manchester United. Let's be honest. He has an opportunity to go to the Premier League. If they don't get Timber this year, Manchester United will go and find someone else. Timber might miss out the opportunity to play at Manchester United. They're not going to wait a year for him next year to come back. The chance is minimal. So all these things combined, my feeling, again, I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm not saying it's 80%. I think it's just slightly, in my feeling-wise, it goes to that he goes to United. That's what I think.
I had to hold back a lot of arguments during
Go
this
ahead.
minutes, but let me start by saying this. I think you guys are overreacting with the time he takes to make a decision. Because, let's be honest, Ajax just finished their season. Ten Hag could announce that he would be the coach of Manchester United, but he wasn't able to do things for United already until the season was done after Vitesse. So he had to go to Manchester, his first talks there, and then he could do a little bit of work for United already. Timber still had to go to Curaçao. They had to do a trip there with the team. Then, immediately after that, he needs to go to the national squad, to the Nations League. I can imagine that a player like Timber wants to talk to the national coach first to discuss this opportunity with him. Probably Louis van Gaal has told him, I think, but it's speculation from my side, maybe it's better for you to stay at Ajax because you have a guaranteed spot there and it's important for your spot in the national team. We all saw what happened to Donny. So you guys saying that it's taking too long, I'm not agreeing with that, because there was such an action-packed schedule also for the players that sometimes you do not have the time to make that decision yet. And foremost, if it's a good player, Juan, yeah, Manchester United is a Premier League team. If he performs well again this season at the Eredivisie at Ajax, and Manchester United doesn't step up his game because they need to qualify for the Champions League, they need to start performing better because they've saying themselves, the fans, it's been poor the last years. I think he can go to bigger teams than United at the moment. I'm not saying United is not a big team, but there are more teams in the Premier League that are great, So it can also be possible, if Timber stays, that he's not a realistic target anymore next season, if he performs well with Ajax in the Champions League. So for me, it's quite simple. If he doesn't sign a contract, if you cannot stay longer at the club, you need to evaluate if you want to keep him. Yeah? There are two options.
Would you?
There are two options, three options actually.
Well, what would you do? What would you do?
I'm trying to explain it to you. Either he signs a contract and he stays for a year and he leaves with multiple years of contract next year for a great value. Or if he does not want to re-sign a contract, you sell him right away because you do not want a situation with Gravenberg or Brobbey, etc., or with Noes. Or you can also even negotiate maybe with Erik ten Hag and with Manchester United. Guys, we will be selling Timber to you, but you loan him back for 1 year to us.
Nah, come on.
Agree on a fee right now. This is a possibility also.
Why would we do that?
But maybe they think we do not want to miss out on him. It will be good for his career to stay 1 more year at Ajax so that he can develop. and they have a more finished product next season. You can always try to negotiate it.
They
But
need him now. They need him now.
me, I would try to just let him sign a contract for at least 1 more year so that you can sell him next year. This is my preference.
Sahbi, your reaction first, and then Poppy-mento.
No, my reaction first with regards to what Eyejax said. I mean, we all know indeed Ten Hag made his decision to go to United after the Vitesse game, during the Vitesse game, before the Vitesse game. But don't you think Ten Hag already talked to Timber after, before he went to Curaçao, when he was at Curaçao, when he came back from Curaçao? I think it was his job to convince him. So he talks a lot with him. And with regards to Donny was bought because the management wanted him. It's not because of the coach wanted him. This is a different situation. Now the coach really wants him, and he puts his reputation at stake to get Timber because that's his number one priority. Don't you think when Timber goes to United, he won't play him? That would be stupid of him to not play him. So that will be already 1 point to already play him. With regards to the issue about not having too many playing minutes, etc. for the World Cup. Secondly, did you see the center backs of United? I mean, these are all way below par. I mean, we got Varane, who's injury prone, but is a good player. But the rest is all trash. So it wouldn't be a problem for him to play. So I'm not saying I want him to go. I want him here. But I'm really hesitating whether he will stay or not. I think he will leave, and he already knows that he will leave.
This is a different thing you're saying, Sahbi. You and Juan stated that it should be clarification already. It's taking too long. That he talked with him and that he tried to convince him is two different things. That he tried to convince him and that he talked with him, definitely. But he doesn't have time in the schedule to give clarification because the time will come after the national squad. So you can say whatever you want, but it couldn't be earlier than this.
He doesn't want to create chaos at this moment. That's probably the thing. You got the Nations League. You don't want to have the press all over you. You don't want to have United all over you. You don't want the Ajax fans all over you. So he wants to put all those parties aside. But he already knows what he wants to do. It's not something that he wants to think about. That's BS. He already knows whether he wants to stay or go. He already knows.
Look, when I was talking about clarification, yes, I was pointing out to that, but I was at the same time also pointing out at our failure as a club for not signing him and extending it earlier. Because I was talking to an Ajax fan today earlier on the Twitter account, tweeting a little bit, and he told me, once you saw him play after 3-4 games in the Champions League, especially at Dortmund, Ajax already should have started negotiating and extending his contract, because you can already see him in his first full season playing so well with Martinez in the Champions League level. So, these kind of things seems recurring a little bit with Ajax. If you look also at, a lot of people blame Mazraoui, but I think also Ajax dropped the ball there a little bit. Gravenberg, all these things. It's not only the players. We blame the players all the time, but I think Ajax also has to react more quickly.
Definitely have a point, Juan, because I totally agree with that. We have been dropping the ball for years now with contract extensions. So this is without a doubt. I don't think we would even have to discuss this amongst us four, because I think we're all on the same page on that thing.
Yeah, I want to give Poppy-mento also a moment to react on the Timber situation, or whether the arguments that we brought, why we think...
I just had a scenario for you guys, because I think the only upside for staying at Ajax for Timber is that he plays Champions League, and
at Ajax,
at Ajax, and at United he would have the Premier League, FA Cup, and better competition, I would say, or challenges. But I want to say this: 2 scenarios. You keep Timber and you make it through the group phase and you maybe reach like quarterfinals Champions League, or you sell him now, but you become third and you go Europa League and maybe the same quarterfinals. What would you guys choose for? What would you guys go for?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
Champions League or with Timber and Champions League, or without Timber and Europa League? Would you go for the higher fee in selling Timber, even with the possibility of ending up in the Europa League if you go third, let's say.
No.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. The question that Papimento is asking is basically, would you rather, I'm flipping it a little bit, would you rather have Timber for a more year and then if we look at the sporting successes that we might achieve next season, that might be higher with Timber, and then we miss out, of course, on not extending his contract, and maybe, like Sahbi said, his value will drop next year. Are we willing to take that risk, or would you rather know if he's not extending, like Eyejax said, we just sell him for the 50 million or 60 million, whatever it might be? But we're not going to take a risk sporting-wise, but we might, like Papimento said, maybe not go through the knockout stages, but go to Europa League.
But in this scenario, he's not extending, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So what do you
I want the viewers also to respond to this, because for me it's a perspective kind of thing. What do you want?
Okay.
Do you want the money
Before
now?
I go to Eyejax and Sahbi, because you're asking questions, but I also want you to react on your own question. So what would you do?
I would keep Timber, man. I would be happy if Timber stays another year. We can get through the group phase of the Champions League, and you sell him for the same amount of Gravenberg. I would be happy with something like that.
Really? Okay, Eyejax?
Yeah, sell him.
Yeah, you would sell him for the 650.
Either we need to restructure our club and be able to sign those contracts earlier, so that you do not have this problem time after time, or now you need to just handle the situation. If he does not want to resign, banking 50 plus million, take it. Because also what we take out of this equation is the player that you sign for him already gets a season to adapt to the style of Ajax. So even if you sell him a year later, you will have the same scenario. Timber will be leaving, you need a substitute player for him. So you will have the same problem next year. So it's a short-term vision. Either you do it now and you bank a lot of money so you can buy that player for free, because if you have half the money that year later, you have to use that part of the money and you have less. Or you do it a year later.
But you're not taking into account the Champions League earnings, man.
Yeah, but look, at the same time, I just want to say something about that, because yes, I agree with you. Also, if you look at last season, we did well in the Champions League. We won all our group stages. We made a lot of money. But one thing you have to take into account, we have a lot of expenses, and also the Corona years are still haunting us a little bit. So we need to sell for a decent amount of money, and the Gravenberg transfer is not going to quite make it. I mean, it might just stop the bleeding a little bit, but we need a real sale, to be honest. Don't forget our salary. Also, our salary is really high compared to the other Eredivisie clubs. So we're budgeting.
But it's not Timbers.
No, but wait, it's budgeted. Just to be clear, for this argument, our salary is based and budgeted on Champions League level. So be aware of that when you talk about, if we go to Champions League and these kind of things. Yes, we might earn a little bit more, but if we sell in one go, we sell Timber for 50, 60, you have a season earning already without playing Champions League.
Not only this one, we overachieved this season, so we got a surplus this season.
Over?
Yeah, we won all the group stages. You know how much money we got from that?
Well, that's what you mean.
Yeah, but not in comparison when you go to the quarterfinals.
We got a lot of money.
Yeah, but if we won against Benfica, man, the earnings would have been crazy. So.
Of course, but for us, it was quite positive that PSV dropped out of the Champions League, because also the whole amount of money goes to Ajax then.
Yeah, so the TV money. Yeah.
This season.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would rather go through in the Champions League with 10. I would rather have gone through in the Champions League with 10 points and then went to the quarterfinals or the semifinals. That's what really overachieving is. This isn't overachieving. This is peaking at the beginning and really
exactly right.
No, but look,
I'm just talking about finance, and now you're saying sporting.
No, but the finances are really the finances are really in the playoffs.
Finances were good this season. We overachieved financially, so we have an extra chunk of money that we didn't before.
Guys, may I intervene? Ajax needs to sell to close their books, right? They need like a 50 million sale
50 million.
to close
something
their
like
books.
that, 40, 50, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So they do need a sale, but look, why don't we sell Haller, leave Timber, because Timber is not easy replaceable. Haller you can get anywhere. Anywhere, bro.
Look, I'm the host. We're not going to talk about Haller because you're asking now questions and coming with other
Sorry,
topics.
bro. Sorry,
No,
go.
we're not talking about Haller today.
But we're selling our best players. That's my point. Mazraoui leaving, our best right back. If we sell Timber and Nico leaving, that's a big ask to come back from next season, man. I don't know.
If they want to leave.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But also, one little small side note, Juan, then let's move on. Also with Nico, we know he's already leaving. Where's the backup plan? They should already have scouted intensively, and they should already have a successor for him ready, but because they know he wants to leave. So we had the whole season. The scouts are not playing matches, you know. They're scouting the whole season.
Yeah, I do think they have a list already, but first I think he has to leave before we can do something. You know, that's the thing. Sahbi, before I move to the next topic, would you like to have a final reaction on this whole Timber debate or discussion?
No, but it's already what I've said. If you got a good replacement, and even if you have to splash out for that replacement, I mean, it shouldn't cost more than 15 or 20 million. Then I will be okay with selling Timber if he would not be able. If he doesn't want to extend, I mean, extension is priority. If he doesn't, I think it's good for him to, meaning that he doesn't want to stay, at least not for multiple years, and he doesn't want to help out Ajax. So sell him 50 million, buy somebody else for 15, 20 who is talented, who can easily take over. So it doesn't need a lot of adaptation. Do it.
All right. We're talking, of course, and we touched upon, not extending contracts, and this is actually coming to bite us in the, you know what? I cannot say it here, but you know what I mean. One clear example, and this is the next topic, is Brobbey. Went to Leipzig for free. We got him back on loan. He's been very important, let's be honest. He's been very important in the second half of the season. He actually also helped us win the league title. And he is valuable. He is a valuable player. He knows how to play in the system. He brings something else than Haller, Papimento. So, I mean...
Hard to do, though.
Huh?
Hard to do, man. Bring something else than Haller, yeah.
Hey, he still scored 33 goals, buddy. So let's be a bit respectful.
Baby. Yeah, okay, go. Sorry.
All right. So, guys, Brobbey, report this week. There was already news like, okay, it might be double figures, 10 million. Now this week it came like somebody else came up with, it might be even 15 million what Ajax has to pay to get him back. So, is he worth 10, 15 million? Should Ajax still buy him? If you take into account everything, his added value, the way he left Ajax, coming back, looking at our squad, etc. Let me go to Papimento first.
Yeah, for Juan, for me, what happened in the past happened in the past. I'm over it. He helped us this season when he came back on loan, and he was important for us, and he was part of us winning the league. So for that, forgiven. 15 million. He has 3 years left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken, because he signed with Leipzig for 4.
Yeah, could be.
I don't think that's a big amount for somebody that has 3 years on his contract and knows already the way we play and is comfortable in that position in the system we play. So I would say pay the 15 million, get him. The worrisome part for me is his injuries, and I never seen him play like a full 90 minutes. So I do have some worries about him. But and sell Haller and get another striker, and then Brobbey can compete with that striker. Yeah, I like that idea. 15 million is not a lot for a striker. Usually strikers are much more expensive than this.
Yeah, but you still keep bringing up Haller all the time.
Yeah, man, he needs to go, bro. Because to be honest, I'm scared that Brobbey comes back, we buy him for 15 million, and he's still the second choice. Yeah, that would hurt me, man. Okay. Your take.
Let me go with Eyejax on this one. Eyejax, what do you think? What should we do?
Guys, hold on to your chairs because this is going to be scary what I'm saying. I am fully agreeing with Papimento.
Oh shit.
This must be a first, because I'm never agreeing with Papimento, but what he just said makes total sense. I was about to say the same. Ajax has done some mismanagement, but also the way Brobbey maybe handled the situation was not like peachy, But we need to just swallow the bitter pill, pay the 10, 15 million, because whatever striker you will get in this market, you know, it will be around 10, 15 million for a talent, you know, outside of your academy. They need time to adapt. But Brobbey, you know, he knows the culture, he knows the style. He was brought up in the system from very young age. Taylor may be pivotal for us next year. They have like a chemistry together, you know, they know each other very well, so he knows how to play with him and maybe give him some assists. I think he will be for us a pivotal player, and just pay the 50 million, but make sure that you sign him for 4 or 5 years, that you do not have the same situation as with other players. And I think he will bring in more money in the end than we pay for him. And it's just a sour situation that we also would have been better if we anticipated it better, so that we signed him for many years already prior to the situation that happened when he left. So this is our own bad management, and this is the bitter pill we have to swallow, the fee we have to pay. But I'm agreeing with Papiamento. 10, 50 million for a huge talent with 3 years contract left is not that high of a fee, in my opinion.
Sahbi, do you have a different opinion?
No, I mean, I have not much to add on, so this is really surprising. We agree with all each other. But the only thing that I want to add is, besides what Papiamento and Eyejax said, is the fee that Leipzig wants has mainly cost because of the wording of Brobbey, by continuously stating, I want to play at Ajax, I want to stay at Ajax, my aim is to stay at Ajax. That has probably driven the price up because Leipzig knows Ajax has the funds. Ajax also wants him. Brobbey wants Ajax. So it's a 1+1. It's a win-win situation for Ajax and Brobbey. But Leipzig thinks, well, let's make use of that. So that has probably driven up the price. So I wouldn't have done that how Brobbey did. But he really voiced out his wish, and it meant a lot with if we look at the price. But there's no other option. We have to pay if we want him. Just as Eyejax said, he knows the system by heart. He knows he grew up with all those players. He grew up with the system, the culture, and so on. So it will be so easy for Ajax and for Brobbey to blend in again and to play the type of football that we want to see. And he had a huge impact for us, and he can still have a huge impact. He's still young. He can triple that amount if he continue like this, especially on international level. So we'll have to do that. And players of Ajax need to learn from this by not leaving so early. But Ajax needs to learn as well by not waiting too long by extending contracts of youth players.
Yeah, look, we're saying that Ajax doesn't have to wait long. I also think sometimes it's about where you start and how you start. That's my opinion, because we also know about Brobbey that they tried in that year everything they could to keep him. But it was basically done, and he left for Leipzig. You know, the only thing, yes?
No, I just wanted to add that with Overmars, I wasn't worried as much as I am now, Juan. With Overmars, you were already hearing in the second half of the season contract negotiations. We're talking with that player, him being interviewed, getting some information. Since he left, I feel that was the first domino that fell. It's been very quiet.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early to say that. But what would be nice, of course, in this transfer window is if Hamstra comes and just has an interview and just tells us what the plan or strategy or whatever is, or even Van der Sar, somebody, because there are too many question marks at the moment, and so many things have changed in the structure of Ajax as well. We have a new coach, all these kind of things. But I think it will come. I think it's only a silence before the storm, to be honest. Right. And what I wanted to say as well about Brobbey, because we're also thinking, you guys know the opportunity cost model, right? You guys know that, how it works?
Well, explain it, Juan. Explain it.
Explain to the viewers.
So basically, the opportunity cost situation is an economic thing to say, basically. So what happens with Brobbey in that sense? He left for free, and because he left for free, we had an opportunity. He was worth something, but we cannot sell him for that value. So basically, he went for free. So now his value, according to Leipzig, let's say that's the market value, is 50 million. So not only did we leave a player I mean, a player left for 15 million or something. That might have been his value, but we have to pay 15 million to get him back. So
we lost for 30.
In that sense, we're already 30 million, and not to mention, I'm not even adding all the youth academy expenses and costs that we put into him because he's been a youth academy player for quite some time. This player is maybe the most expensive player we ever had at Ajax. That's the only thing I wanted to say.
Bro,
I
that's
didn't even look at it from that perspective, to be honest.
No, but if you think about it, it's not a weird thing to say because look, when you say about Mazraoui, he's leaving for free, you're missing out on the value of the player, right? The same can be said about Brobbey. But now we have a unique situation in which we have to pay to get him back. So basically, he left for free. He was our academy player, and now we have to pay 50 million for him to come back to play for us. So it's not even 50 million what we're paying. We're missing, I mean, the opportunity cost, the cost for him is much higher than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the viewers are still with us. This was We Talk Economics because
Yeah, no, but
thank you for your contribution, Juan.
Thank you. In that sense, you can say he's actually more expensive than Haller, so he should be first choice.
Yeah.
People will love that.
And he's
So,
better.
to get back to football, Koopmeiners, I want to reply to what you were saying about Overmars. I do think he dropped the ball quite a few times, contract situation-wise, when he was at the helm. So, for you saying you felt more comfortable with him,
That was stable, Ajax.
I disagree
It
with
felt
him.
more stable under Overmars. He didn't do everything right, but I feel like it was more stable.
Yeah, that's a different thing, but I do think that Hamstra is not like a public figure, you know, like Overmars was. Overmars was a personality, so he went to the media more. But I think Huntelaar can be in that role in the future, but Huntelaar didn't do it yet because he's new at the club. He needs to get comfortable with the role. Hamstra needs to learn some things. He needs to get some information, maybe from Overmars also. But I do think if Huntelaar is at the helm a little bit more, at the club a little bit more in this role, that he can be in that situation that Overmars was in. But it wasn't the time yet. But to get back to being comfortable when Overmars was at the helm, yes, he did terrific with a lot of things. But he also dropped the ball a few times with contract situations. Because at his reign, the contracts that were expired now, that didn't get extended, it was under Overmars. So I'm not fully convinced that he did a great job with the contract extensions.
But Juan just said that they tried everything in his last year to keep him. You might argue that they could have started earlier with the contract negotiations of Brobbey, but they did try to do everything, and we were hearing for a season long, that they were busy with Brobbey.
Yeah, that was too late.
Yeah, but it's too late.
Yeah,
so you can say, oh, we did the best we can. Yeah, oh, we did everything we could at the last year. No, the problem is you should have re-signed him a year earlier, at least, or maybe 2 years.
But guys, be honest. It was a salary situation. A salary Ajax might not be able to offer a Brobbey at that time.
No. That's the lack of playing time.
Yes.
Was that it? Because Overmars said it was money. And his family and whatever, and
Brobbey stated in the media that it was almost the same salary that he got at Leipzig than what Ajax offered him. So
Ajax went pretty far to give him a good salary. Even his agent admitted after he signed with Leipzig that was not the case. It was not because of salary. Look, Brobbey said that he wanted to play more, but at the end of the day, guys, this is what you say to the media, because when he went to Leipzig, he didn't play at all. I mean, he would have still gotten more chance at Ajax. So I think it has to do with maybe change of scenery. Maybe he didn't have enough confidence of playing in the team. I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to predict. The only thing I would like to add to what Eyejax is saying, we have to be careful as well, because it's not like Overmars decides what happens all the time. For big contracts, salaries, etc., he has to get approval from the board as well. So we don't always hear these kind of things, but sometimes the board can say no, even if Overmars wants something.
But you know what the pivotal thing in this situation is, Juan? Brobbey has been, since he's in the youth, always one of the better players in his squad, you know, in his youth squads that he went through.
Yeah.
So if he's a big talent of your club, same with Univar and stuff, you know, there are players for the future. You should be on it. Every single year, you should be sure that when they can get a contract, that the contract situation is dealt with. before they debuted in the first team, they should at least have 3-4 years of contract left, because when they break through, then the demand for the player increases and they can ask for different stuff. But if it's a player in your squad that has always performed well and was always one of your top players in every youth squad that he played in, you should handle the situation better. And that is not only for Brobbey, it's not only for Univar, this is for every player in your academy now that is one of your better tier players in your youth squad. You can see the development of a player. If a player is 10, he's one of the better players. He's still one of the better players at 12, 14, 16. You should make sure that you have the contract situation dealt with.
Yeah, but Eyejax, I totally agree with you, but I want to add something to that as well. This is from Ajax perspective, but once you start talking to a youth player, depending on which youth player it is, in which situation he is, etc. But if you look now at, let's take for example Taylor. He had also an interview, and he said basically what he said, like, okay, let me translate freely. I mean, basically what he said was, I want to start this season the way I ended last season. So basically what he's saying is, I want to be a regular in the first team, and I would like to stay at Ajax. I would like to have an extension. I would like to play 100, 200 games, and I would like to be sold after a while, earn a lot of money for Ajax as well. That's my dream. I want to succeed here. But at the same time, if that's not going to happen, I have to look out for myself. And this is something that you're looking and you're seeing a lot from other players. Brobbey is also the same. He also came with, look, Huntelaar was at that time playing. Traoré was at that time playing. And on top of that, they were already talking. But on top of that, in January, they went out and bought Haller. What does that mean for him?
I agree, but the contract situation, I do not know what the contract situation of Taylor is by memory. I'm sorry. But if this is the case, is he's stating this, then Alfred Schreuder should have a talk with him now at the start of the season. And it's very simple. Taylor, you're one of the persons in the squad that will be pivotal for us in the midfield. We're going to give you the chances that you deserve. And the first half of the season, it's up to you to show the same level that you did at the end of the season. But if we are going on this road together, we want to renegotiate your contract now, and we're going to re-sign a new contract, and we're going to give you the chance. This is how you should handle it. If you do not believe in him as a coach, then it's a different situation. But if Schreuder sees in him one of our future midfielders, this is the way you should handle it. You should renegotiate now for the future, then giving him a chance and just let another year of the contract go by. This is how you should go with it.
Yeah, but I can understand that Taylor might be very hesitant to go into contract negotiations after a season where he played maybe 3 matches full.
But this is the you have to take. If they give him the promise, then he should take the risk.
Yeah. Moving on, guys. We have to move on a little bit. We're a little bit having time issues, time constraints, as always talking about a lot of things. Quickly, I want to go over 2 more subjects. The first subject is Telegraaf linking 2 players with Ajax. They are on the short list of Ajax, and they might be inquiring again this summer about these 2 players. First player is Flekken, the goalkeeper from Freiburg.
Sports. Sports.
And the second one is Teun Koopmeiners from Atalanta, the one of course, was playing for AZ. He signed with Atlanta last year, and he's playing very well, actually, at Atlanta on the midfield. Let me go with Sahbi. Sahbi, what do you think of these 2 names? Does it make you feel warm, or does it make you feel cold?
I'm already shivering. No, man, this is no. This for me. Those are not Ajax players.
Not even Koopmeiners. Not even Koopmeiners.
Koopmeiners is a good player, but I don't see him like as an Ajax player. In some way, he reminds me of Teun Jansen, like a player who was bought but didn't have that added value on the pitch, even though he was a good player. I see him as a good player for other teams, but not for Ajax. And
Teun Jansen, really? Teun Jansen.
Yeah, well, I don't know why, but it's just that comparison that I got with him.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Huh?
So crazy.
I know. But yeah, and next to that, I mean, he was bought, I think, by Atalanta for how much? 18 million? And
No, 14, 15. 14 or 15.
Yeah,
mean,
backstory.
He signed a contract for 4 years.
exactly.
Last year.
Another
He
year.
has a contract until 2025, but they have the option to extend it for
Exactly.
1 more year. So
Exactly.
Exactly. But what
And
does
his
it mean? I mean,
salary is 2 million a year. by the way.
and
That's
he
okay.
had a good season at Atalanta,
Yeah.
playing almost all the matches. So that would mean that his transfer fee would be sky high. Would that be worth to get a Dutch player who played at AZ 1 season before, going to Atalanta, to Italy, and then buy him back for such an amount? Next to that, I don't see him even coming to the Netherlands. I mean, it's his first season
So
in
what you're
Italy.
saying is it sounds a little bit unrealistic to you.
Unrealistic. I don't because otherwise he would have left for Ajax at that
And what
moment.
about the goalkeeper, Flekken?
Nah, I mean, we have 2 senior keepers already, Pasveer and Stekelenburg. If you got Flekken,
But this one is 10 years younger.
no, but I'm not saying that he is one of the oldies. I'm saying that if Flekken would come, it will mean it's over for Gorter,
Yeah.
because it's a long-term deal with Flekken. You won't buy him for 1 season. You would buy him for several seasons. I don't think Gorter will wait so many years to be first, third keeper, or maybe fourth keeper with Pasveer and Stekelenburg, and then the next season maybe third keeper, because you want to have another goalkeeper. It wouldn't suit the plan of Gorter, and I think Gorter is a really good keeper. You should give him a long-term chance. So we should buy a keeper, but not a keeper that could be already a first keeper at Ajax.
Yeah.
And we already got Pasveer and Stekelenburg, who would definitely play for another year. So it's going to be difficult. I would rather opt for Gorter.
Papimento, what's your view on these 2 players that we just mentioned, or the ones that are being linked with Ajax?
Yeah, I'll be very clear about Koopmeiners. No. So let's go out of that. With Mark Flekken, I'm still doubting, because I think he had an amazing season. I think he ended up 6th with Freiburg in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
We've been hearing great things about his distribution, ball distribution, and he had an amazing season, like with his saves. He could be an option. We know that Stekelenburg and Pasveer, I mean, we always need our third keeper in the season because they're always injured. So with that age, you get that as well. So it might not be a bad option to get somebody that's 28 years old. He's not an expensive option. I don't know till when his contract is, but I know what he makes in salary, and it's not much.
How much? Do you know?
I think it was around 700,000 or something.
5K a week.
A year, I think.
How much, Ajax?
5K a week.
Okay.
Okay, that was it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, Ajax, your view on these 2 players, but also in terms of Flekken, right? What Papimento says is very good point. And also what someone said, should we go for another goalkeeper? I mean, that question, should we go for another, or should we say, guys, I mean, we got Gorter, give him a chance?
I'm going to be very clear in this. I think Stekelenburg and Pasveer, it's not going to be there for a long time because they're very old, and we need a new keeper. So I think Flekken may be relatively cheap, although he has a contract until 2024. So still a few contract years left.
That's 2 years.
I do think that that they should try to get him, and that they should have Gorter and him fight it out. I think Gorter is a terrific goalkeeper, but you have to have competition. You cannot be like there at the club just giving him the first team spot without any competition behind him. And Stekelenburg and Pasveer aren't there for the long run. So for me, it would be healthy getting maybe a Flekken and a Gorter, and they fight it out and they see who is best. This is a healthy situation because you need competition in all areas. And I know Gorter deserves a chance, but it's up to him to grab the chance also. Considering Flekken, what Papimento said is spot on. They went to the 6th place this year for Europa League football. So that's a very great season. He had 10 clean sheets. So in the Bundesliga, in a team like Freiburg, getting those 10 clean sheets in that competition is quite a performance, if you ask me. He's a great line keeper, and his distribution is also quite proper. So for that, I think he would be a good Ajax keeper. Also, for him now being at the national squad, you will get an international. So this is something that I value higher, and I think it's a better option than maybe getting Silas back, that there are also rumors about.
Yeah.
So he played almost all the matches this season, and he's not that injury prone. This is also something important because all our keepers, including our talented Gorter, they were injured this season. They were out for a lot of matches. He played 32 out of 34 matches and all the cup matches. So
and sorry, Eyejax, just to add, who says that if Mark Flekken comes, Stekelenburg and Pasveer will not be the bench players? I'm not convinced he cannot go toe to toe with them. So that's why I'm doubting still.
Survival of the fittest, and I think it's healthy to get another keeper. So every keeper you get will either be a talent that will be behind in the pecking order of Gorter, or it would be somebody who can compete with him. I'd rather have two keepers at the level that is needed in the Champions League because Stekelenburg and Pasveer are both injury prone. They're old. Onana isn't at the club anymore. So I'm not taking and I'm not swallowing it. We need a youth player. We need somebody behind Gorter that needs to develop. No, we're Ajax. We're at a different level at the moment. We need quality keepers. We saw every year that we needed to rely on backup keepers. What happened against Roma with our big friend that is in England now in the goal? He fumbled the ball. What happened this season? We had to rely on other keepers also because of injuries. What happened when Onana was in the goal again? It wasn't that great, We need to anticipate for this. And about Koopmeiners, because this was the second player, Juan, to end this circle, I do not think we should get him. I was hearing one of the guys say that he has a great season. I disagree. He did properly, but he played like 60% of his matches, and did 7 or 8 in the Serie A. They even
follow Italian football. He played great.
They even get European football. Yeah. Then next to that, as a midfielder that played a lot, according to the guys, he only scored 4 goals and 1 assist. So you can be more pivotal in your role to deliver more than that, especially in the Serie A, because it isn't the greatest competition anymore as it was in the past, with the big AC Milan and the big teams at that stage. And for me, not getting him when he was at AZ, you should not pay more money for him now, because he's now too expensive. And to be honest, I'm going to be quite frank with you. I think Taylor is a better player than Koopmeiners is. He has more potential. He's a child of the club. Why should you go for Koopmeiners if you can play Taylor? It is just destroying your money.
But guys, Koopmeiners is a replacement for Edson, right? So why are we looking at assists?
More 6.
Yeah, it's more of a CDM.
He can play both. He can play 6 and he can play 8.
Yeah, he isn't a defensive midfielder. Koopmeiners isn't a defensive midfielder.
I would say because he would be too expensive, don't do it. But on the ball, he's better than Edson. Off the ball, Edson wins it.
He's a midfielder, bro. He's more of a building up player. He plays that role sometimes, but he's the player to go to pass the ball.
Yeah, so, I understand, but I was watching compilations a la KG style today, in Atalanta, and I saw some passes. I was like, damn, I'm impressed. I didn't see that as AZ. So I was like, okay, if you put that in a position of Alvarez and he can spread his passes like that, that would be an added value for Ajax.
Defensively, strong enough, bro. And he was also the captain. I saw him many years. He was also always the captain at the younger Netherlands squad, and the 21, and the 17, and the 19s. And he was always the player that got the ball. He was the captain and dividing the play. He did it at AZ also a lot, but he is not big enough of a personality defensive-wise to fill the shoes of Alvarez. So for me, no, definitely not a defensive midfielder.
Just a final take also from Sahbi, because he watches, like he said, from all of us, he watches Italian football the most. Do you think also taking into account what Eyejax said about Koopmeiners, into what player do you think he developed, and do you think he's good enough for this Ajax squad?
He can be good enough for Ajax, okay, but not as a starter. I don't think he fits that system. As Eyejax said, he's not a defensive midfielder. They play with a 3-5-2 in a 3-5-2 system, whereby he's more of a disputer of the ball. So you see him a lot within the 16-yard box of the opponent, giving those passes. He doesn't score a lot. He does have a pre-assist, but he doesn't have a lot of assists. So he's an okay player, but to pay at least 25 million, because those are the rumors, nah. definitely no go. I mean, I would rather have paid for him 10 million when he was at AZ, and then perhaps would have sold him for a higher amount if he did well. But you won't pay 25 million for a player that was 1 year before a player within the Eredivisie, and he's not like an outstanding player. So no, I wouldn't pay that amount at all.
Yeah. Let me ask you one final question, and just to cap off this video. It's about this transfer and the rumors that we're hearing and all these kind of things. Also, you mentioned earlier also that Sillissen is being mentioned now. Does it surprise you guys that we're always being linked with Dutch players? Or do you think also, on the other hand, it's a little bit agent-driven, that it makes sense to link them with Ajax, maybe it will spark some interest for their players and these kind of things. In general, how do you view that? I want everybody just to have an opinion on this. I will go with Koopmeiners first.
Yeah, I think the same names come up every year. So I do think it's more of a media kind of thing than really Ajax looking at it. I know we do have some insiders like Mark Verwij that talk about it, and they might hear some things, but I cannot imagine you wanting Koopmeiners and Sillissen, man. Like, where did we go from being a youth talent
Factory.
Factory to all these oldies coming back? I'm like, no. Go back to your strategy. The only world-class players we ever had were never bought. Okay? Frankie, De Ligt, Timber, those are world-class talents. They come out of their youth. And
but Frankie we got from Willem II, yeah? Don't forget.
Yeah, okay. But exceptional talent, and you had it at a young age. Let me say it like that. But we never had an exceptional. Oh no, that's not true. Suarez came in as a signing, so I cannot say that too easily. But we did have a lot of world-class talents come out of the youth, man. I must say that, and not many were bought.
Okay, Ajax, what's your take on this? All these links with Dutch players also.
Juan, like it's been this for years, it's quite simple. We're Ajax. We have a mix of youth players, but we also have the possibility now to buy higher level youth players for a higher fee, like Anthony, like Neres in the past. We do those kind of things. Also with Kudus and Darami, even if you do not think that they're proper players, some might think this, they were high fee players, So we're buying either great youth players that we do not have in the academy that are maybe gems for the future, or we come into the pool of Dutch players that either need a new career move or didn't make it in one of the bigger competitions, are on the starter. These are the players that we try to get back. It's always been like this. And we have some exceptions, like a Tadic, that is also somebody who loves Ajax, and it was an opportunity that we seized, that has some experience in the Eredivisie also, because he was at different teams in the Eredivisie. So he's kind of a bit of the same, but just a different nationality. But are always the players that we get back. We rarely sign foreign players from other competitions do not have history at Ajax or at the Eredivisie. Maybe a Gabri in the past, the Spanish guy. That sort of guys that we signed had a value for us at a later age, or in the very beginning, like a Laudrup, in the 90s. That sort of guys, but we didn't see that kind of signings anymore the last years, like foreign players from that age. So it's not really a different situation that we are linked to them. It's always been like that one.
Koopmeiners, you wanted to react?
No, I just wanted to react on. He said some players that weren't bought that don't have a link with Ajax. But if you look at Nico, if you look at Martinez, Alvarez, those don't have a link. We're bought at a younger age.
Older players like 29, 28, 30 from a different culture, from a different nationality. Those players you mentioned, we bought them at, maybe Nico was 24 when he came in, so they were quite young still.
So correct. Sahbi, your final take it away, man. What do you want to say about, or do you agree with Ajax, what he's saying about being linked with these players, these experienced players?
No, that's very true what Ajax said. But on the other hand, I don't really care about all these rumors. It's something that occurs every season. We're constantly linked with Dutch players, with one of the best Dutch players. You got Mountain Wine from Spurs who got linked. You got Promes when he was at Sevilla. You always got Dutch players, sometimes Dutch internationals, who we try to attract according to rumors.
But sometimes it was a little bit worrisome because we tried for the second time to get Babel back on the loan.
Yeah.
We tried last year. We got I forgot his name from Sevilla.
The Moroccan guy.
Yes. What's his name again, guys? Help me out. Huh? You also got him, but he never played. You know?
No, him. What was his name again?
He played for AZ. He used to play for AZ.
The winger. He didn't play rarely.
Yeah.
Idrissi.
Idrissi, guys.
Idrissi, yeah.
Thank you. Idrissi. Yeah. So, I hope we step away from that. That's the only thing I want to say, that we don't do these kind of things.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, we're Ajax. We are the best. And of course, we try to attract all those kind of players, but we need to stop with that. We need to have either some good experienced footballers who can add something to our squad, or young, talented players who we do not have in our youth academy.
But why do we need to stop with it? I understand that it's sometimes tiresome that we get linked with everybody, but the players that we got, like the last 5, 6, 7 years, that were more experienced and had experience as a Dutch player before at Ajax or at our league, they worked out well, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
maybe Klaas at a certain point, he has his value for our team. He may think he's the most nice player to watch, but he done also at this spell at Ajax, he's done terrific things for us at a certain point.
Yeah,
important goals, stuff, etc.
You know what my problem is, Eyejax? Players like Berghuis, Klaas, Blind. No, Blind and Tadic, I guess, are other level. But Klaas and Berghuis, I think they're okay players, but they're not great players.
Guys, I'm trying to react on Ajax for a while now. Can I just say something? Thank you. Ajax, just to be clear, I'm not saying that we should step away from that. I think it has shown value, like you said, but I'm just saying we have to step away from, bringing Idrissi in or bringing Babel in. I think those players, to be very honest, are just standing in the way of our youth players that might get an opportunity to play.
Yeah. But at least we can say, Juan, that we did proper business with that because they were loans. So we didn't spoil a lot of money on them, and probably we could get them in cheap because they were on a side road, at their teams, and they could have been of value if we needed them in the wider aspect of the team, if we got decent stuff. But we didn't spoil the money. I agree with you. You should you should aim for higher talented players, but it isn't like a Magajan that we bought for a lot of money, and that sort of players that just lose value. At least they were loans.
No, I understand that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that if you get these players in and they don't add immediate value, then we're talking about opportunity cost again. Our youth players, we have youth players that can play. Look at for instance the best example. That's a recent example is Taylor. Taylor, the last few weeks, right before the end of the season, he showed that he can step up. He can fulfill it. If we had bought someone had somebody for loan to come in and play there, he wouldn't have the opportunity to play there. That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you, Juan, and I'm just stating that there are options also within the team that we have for 5 years, like a Labiat that stands in the way for like 5 years for other players, So I'm just stating we should be more careful with these kind of players, but at least they were loans. They were gone after a year. That's the only thing I'm stating.
I said that this is the last question, but you're bringing something very, very well, actually very good, and I have to ask this question. So let's make this the final question. You're talking about bringing in experienced players, and also Sahbi said that have immediate impact on the team. But if you look at our squad at the moment, don't we have enough experienced players?
Yeah.
Or do you think we can always have one or two more? How do you see that, Papimento? You?
No, I like to have a lower average age at the team. So if you look at Blind, Tadic, Stekelenburg, Berghuis, Klaassen, it's getting a little bit to a critical zone for me, because we're losing kind of our DNA with the amount of youth that are being introduced and getting chances. So I think this should be it. from now on it's renewal, and if these oldies go, we might think about getting new ones. You know, that would
yeah.
be mine.
Yeah, Sahbi, do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Papimento. I think we have sufficient experienced players on the pitch, but also on the bench. I think we should now focus on the talents that we don't have in our youth academy that can bring some added value in our squad. Players like Giovanni, which is discussed in certain newspapers. That player is an exceptional player, which is very useful for our squad. I don't think we need some experienced players. I think we have sufficient players on that in our squad.
Does this also apply to Bergwijn, Ajax?
I think, yeah, I'm just saying this same as I did with Berghuis. You know, there were people that was quite critical about him. I think he did properly at our club. I think Bergwijn is that kind of talent. Still, maybe not a talent anymore. He's 24, but still young. That can bring something extra to the team. His speed, his way of playing, the physique he has. He can also play as a striker if it's necessary. I think he can bring the depth that we lack in our team, because we lack some depth, you know. If Anthony isn't there, we saw it in the team.
Yeah,
it's a problem. We do not have a lot of players that can go deep. Maybe Brobbey sometimes, but that's about it. And
I think also the way we play. I'm sorry I intervened, but if you put Tadic, Haller, and Klaassen behind them, you know that's going to happen, man. Okay, but continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but to get back, yeah, I think Bergwijn is a special kind of player that is a chance for us, and I think he will be of great value, especially in the Eredivisie. He was one of the best players when he left. Wasn't he Player of the Year also? I can remember before he left PSV. So he was terrific, and you can see his value also in the Dutch squad this season. He made some important goals at certain matches, and also for even Tottenham. At some stage, he was pivotal for them, but they didn't give him the minutes after that. I think he can be of value for us. And the players that Papimento said, yeah, we have a few oldies, but I will always play Tadic if he can just bring those numbers again each year, because everybody is saying he's getting older. The best of it is gone now. But if you look at his numbers, if he can produce that kind of numbers, I will play him each and every day, even if he's 36, you know.
So you are happy with the left side of Blind and Tadic for next season?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's stretching my words. I'm saying Tadic.
Only Tadic.
I've been Blind for a long time already, because I think Nico deserved a spot at the left back position way earlier, at the first half of the season already. And I did a poll actually on my Twitter today. Where would you play Blind next season if you would play him? Would it be left back? Would it be central defender? Would it be midfielder? Or would you bench him? Me personally, I think probably I would bench him, because every single position I think of him playing starter, I also see his flaws, and he's getting older and slower, you know. So his passing play is pivotal, but maybe only at the left back position if we do not get a better player, because Nico's maybe leaving, but not at the midfield, not at the central defender.
What if we move Tadic, hypothetically, what if we move Tadic to the center position? Would then Blind be more suitable as a left back?
Maybe. But yeah, if Nico leaves, we should play Blind, because we do not have anything better, you know. Not that Blind is not a good player, but you need to get a quality player to get somebody who's better than Blind, even with his flaws, you know.
Yeah, my question was more because Papimento raised upon, you know, the left side. This season we saw a very huge difference between the left side, Blind, Tadic, and Mazraoui, Anthony. The one was very dynamic, the other one was more static, even though they were good on the ball. But it was night and day between the two.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Juan. If you look at the stats, and I know it's different the way we like to see players play, because it was like samba football sometimes with Mazraoui and with Anthony. But if you look at the stats on the left side and you look at the stats on the right side, the left side dominated the right side, especially in the Eredivisie, maybe also in the Champions League. Just look up the stats. Only the stats of Tadic is already more than Anthony and Mazraoui combined.
Yeah, but that's not how you also value the side. You don't only look at but you don't only look at the stats.
No, it's important the way they play also, but stats wise, the contribution to the team in assists and goals is more from the left side than from the right. It's just stats, man.
Okay, but
Yeah,
look also at your.
yes,
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to react to that. Look also at the eye test. Once Anthony wasn't there anymore, and even Ten Hag said we couldn't play our football anymore, and we were struggling for games against Cambuur and these kind of teams without Anthony.
I agree, Juan. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but you cannot say the left side was not successful if you put up that.
That's not what I said. I said there was a difference in dynamic between the right side and the left side. That's what I'm saying.
But it's still
Anyways, final take on this or any other topics we discussed today. I'm going to give it to you guys, and then that's it. That's a wrap. Sahbi, anything you want to add or conclude?
Nothing, bro. I mean, it's all clear. Brobbey was first a mistake. Now we buy him. That's a clear thing. Timber, unfortunately, I think he will leave. Hopefully not, but my guess is he will leave. And definitely no go for me for Koopmeiners and Flekken. Boom.
Pavimento.
Yeah, if Timber leave, it needs to be with a heavy United tax. That's for one, because I don't want him to leave. And yeah, I mean, it looks sometimes that we are negative about the points we're talking about, but I am quite positive about next season and the players that are coming, like Ihataren, Nassi, Vos. Enough.
Vos is a bit early. Let's not jump.
Okay, Van Axel Dongen.
We'll see.
You know, there are some players that are coming, and that's getting me excited. Let's just see if we can get like a quality left back. You know, let's see if we can keep Timber. Let's see if we can go for a good right back. Yeah, we will be set for next year, man. I hope.
And let's see if Schroeder gives more chances to the youth.
Exactly. We need to evaluate. We need to evaluate Schroeder. We still need to do that.
Midfield is not going to be a problem, if I'm being honest. I think defense and maybe a second keeper, maybe if you do not say Brobbey, maybe a striker if Haller leaves, maybe one more winger. But the midfield, we have enough players there, man. We just need to give him some time and chances because Kudus, Taylor, they're all great players. Even Ihataren, if he's in form and fit, he can be a great value for us on the midfield or on the winger position. You know, it's great there. To sum it up.
One more thing. Even Berghuis played as an 8 with Den Haag. We don't know if Schroeder's going to do the same, but he is an option.
He did it quite well also. So we have a lot of options there. And I'm not going to summarize all the things I said, Juan. I just want to ask you to explain one more time the economics part, man.
Yeah. Matrix. No, guys, it's
too late.
No, all right. So, guys, we let Brobbey leave for free. He represents a value, but now we have to pay also money to get him back. That's double, basically. Let's say it's 30 million. So it's the most expensive player. That's it. We're out.